Yo, what's good guys? How we doing? We are currently on the countdown for the official FIFA 21 gameplay trailer. I'm excited. I hope you are too. Hopefully EA shows something juicy, something to get us excited and look forward to FIFA 21, because FIFA 20 has been pretty bad, let's be honest. But here we go. 10 seconds to go. Let's get ready. Here we go. Let's get into it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's have it, EA. Come on, here we go. Here we go.
FIFA 21 rewards you for your creativity and control both on and off the ball, with more intelligent player positioning, better scoring opportunities, and player-controlled runs.
So we know about that already. We know about that.
Last season, dynamic one-on-ones put you in charge of 1v1 battles. In FIFA 21, agile dribbling lets you unleash your creativity to go past the defender. Show off some fast footwork to leave them lost for words. Hold down the right shoulder button and use the left stick to get close control over the ball. See how Sterling uses his quick feet to take it around the defender and lays off that perfect through ball. Or do it in style with the new skill moves like the bridge dribble and the ball roll fake to explode past defenders.
So that's an enhancement on left-stick dribbling then. It's going to allow us to do a little bit extra with left-stick dribbling, which is good. I like that.
In past seasons, you rely on the AI to make the right runs off the ball. Now you've got more control over your attacker's movement in the build-up. Get inventive and control your teammates' runs with directed pass and go and directed runs. Watch how a tap on the left bumper and a flick of the right stick sends Salah into space before he dispatches the return. Or lock onto one player to take matters into your own hands.
I predicted that. I predicted that's exactly how I'll do the directional runs. So I said you'll press L1 or L2 or R1 or L2, and you would be able to tell the player where to run. So that's good.
Hold their runs to stay onside. Creative playmakers like Kevin De Bruyne find the spaces to play those incisive through balls. Midfielders like Fabinho shut off passing lanes. And defensive giants like Van Dijk block more effectively when they get in the way of shots and crosses.
That's worrying for AI defending, very worrying. But we should see how it translates in game. Something that really needed improving here.
Those defense v attack free-for-alls when the ball goes loose in the box with a refreshed collision system. Now you'll see less falling over and more natural outcomes when players fight to be first to the ball.
Let's hope the referees are on point this time, because that was the biggest issue of the collision system, is the free kicks you never got.
Fundamentals includes your feedback to unlock creativity in FIFA 21. Switch on new manual headers and send headed shots and passes exactly where you're aiming. Dispatch the ball into space for your teammate to run onto with more effective long through balls.
We've already got that, I think.
Competitor mode gives you an idea of what it's like to play against the best FIFA players in the world, giving your opponent better skill moves, dribbling, and all-round tactical awareness so you can take it beyond legendary. But don't worry if you miss your chance. Have another go at striking it just right with new gameplay.
So that's an extra hardness level for squad battles against the AI, and you can rewind it, which is, I'm not a big fan of the rewinding thing. If you make a mistake and you don't score, rewinding it is not it.
Better scoring opportunities and player-controlled runs, you'll be rewarded for flexing your creativity and control in FIFA 21. And there's much more to come in career mode and FIFA Ultimate Team.
So here we go. Following that trailer and my reaction to it, we have got the pitch notes as well. So we'll dive into them. I think there's quite a lot here. So I'll touch on it. We'll go through it and I'll pull out some key points based on my reflection on the trailer as well. Let's see if we can get a bit more info in here. So we've got a deep dive into the gameplay news on FIFA 21. FIFA community, welcome to this year's deep dive into some of the changes and updates on FIFA 21. First off, we hope you're all staying safe. Yeah. As you'll see, there are multiple features to go through in FIFA 21. Based on community feedback, we want to give you as much context into all these changes as possible. Before we dive into specifics, please note that we're not discussing the PlayStation 5 or Series X versions in this article. More updates on those will follow later this year. However, all listed articles and updates will be present on both generations of consoles. Right, okay. So there's the overview. We'll jump straight into it. Right, the first one. Here we go. Agile dribbling. Agile dribbling is a brand new way to keep close control of the ball in FIFA 21. Inspired by some of the best dribblers in real life, agile dribbling is intended to give you the ability to quickly move on the ball from side to side to help dribblers get away from defenders and use fast footwork to help create space by tricking defenders into overcommitting to tackles, which I love because I love left dribbling, as I've told you. And now if you hold R1 or RB it is, while moving the left stick, you will notice the dribbler moving the ball with more rapid and precise touches. Every player in the game can agile dribble. However, the higher the player's dribbling, agility, reactions, and ball control attributes, the quicker, more precise, and the better they are at keeping the ball at their feet. So straight away there, we're seeing a big meta change there. Well, not a change, but a big push towards what is currently the meta in FIFA 20, which is agility, balance, and dribbling. It looks like it's going to be key this year as well. You can see the video there, how it works, holding down R1. I think he's using Son there out. We're showing what you can do. Keep moving the ball away and then shift away. I like it. I rate it. At the moment, less dribbling works really well, but having that additional feature will be great, and obviously a new tool for us to use. My only worry here is, are they going to counterbalance it with when you hold down A when you're defending to track? Are they going to be closer, sharper to the player? We'll have to see. We are also introducing contextual agile dribbling. This mechanic is optional but enabled by default. When enabled, it will make your players automatically perform agile dribbles in certain situations. For example, in a one-on-one situation against the opponent, the mechanic will be turned off on the controller settings screen. To achieve a more dynamic dribble, regardless of the technique you're using, we also improved player agility and animations, transitions when performing left dribbling and straight dribbling. Okay. Alright, so there we have it straight away. We've got AI assistants built into this new mechanic, so it's going to actually perform agile dribbles for you. Not a fan of that personally. I think that this should be something that's added to create a skill gap, not something that's added where a player can just hold R1, use less trick, and all of a sudden they're going to do all these fancy tricks and allow them to get past the opponent. For me, let this be a skill gap. Let people who hone in using R1 and learn which directional pushes do different things, have that as a skill gap. You know, I'm guessing it more effective when you learn it as a skill gap, but again, I think that should have been left alone. It'd be interesting if that mechanic is off by default on Ultimate Team or not. We'll have to see. We'll wait and see. On to the next one. All right, creative runs. Here we go. In FIFA 21, it wants to make sure you have more control over how your attacking AI players move. With creative runs, we've included new options to influence how your AI teammates move off the ball, providing more creative ways to break down your opponent's defense. Directed runs. You can now take 360 control over the direction of runs of your teammates by flicking the right stick after triggering a run. L1, LB, then flick the right stick, or after calling a teammate shot, R1, RB, and flick the right stick. So there's two methods to it. There's the LB, L1, or there's the R1, RB, depending which way you trigger the run. You can see it here. You press it, do the direction, and they will make a run. Interesting there, it looks like Salah does arc his run there to go in between the players, which is good to see. So this could be fantastic. But it'd be interesting to see how the AI reacts to this and what kind of skill gap this is going to create in game. But I really like that. It's something we needed just here, rather than just pressing the run and they go in a straight line. You know, that is a big addition and something which could potentially add a lot of skill gap into the game. Hopefully it does. We've got a directed pass and goal next. Decide where your teammates make the run after the pass by immediately flicking the right stick in the desired direction. This feature works on any type of pass, ground pass, lob pass, through ball, or even crosses. Okay, so this is the same thing again. It's just showing more examples of it and how they run. Let's just see how the runs go. Yeah, they do out the runs. It is looking like they do change it ever so slightly, not a lot, but hopefully just enough here. He is arcing in a little bit. We'll have to wait and see though. You can have up to 5 players performing a directed run or directed pass and go simultaneously. Interesting. So you can create simultaneously different runs with 5 players. That's massive. That is massive. That could cause mayhem, to be fair. So player lock is the next one. Press both sticks at the same time to unlock your current player when in an attack. You're locked to the player and pass the ball. The CPU will then take control of the player on the ball, allowing you to move your off the ball player and ask for a pass back in a better position. From a control, flick the right stick anytime after the player lock to switch and lock to another player to control your teammates, move it along the way. Interesting. You can see it there, he's took control, moving the player and then he dictates the pass and then shoots. We'll have to see how this works. I think this could probably be one of the least used features. I think having the AI do the pass is going to cause a lot of issues, but we'll have to see. But it's a nice little addition. It is something extra, but we'll have to see how it works. I won't read the next bit. That's just talking further about it. Positioning personality. In FIFA 21, we were focusing on adding deeper AI personality and positioning both offensively and defensively to ensure that the ability of a footballer's greatest players on the virtual pit matches up to real-world counterparts. We want to see players who are tactically aware to have a bigger impact on FIFA, meaning in the right place at the right time to shot, pass, or bot the ball. We've made improvements throughout the multiplayer of the AI position system and want to focus on the explanation of a few specific behaviours that will showcase the personality and the depth of this system. Two main attributes dictate how good the players will be at these behaviours: positioning for attacking personality and defensive awareness for defensive personality. These details that follow only apply to the players being controlled by the AI teammates. Okay. Attacking positional attribute impact. The positioning of the attribute can impact many elements of attacking personality. The specific behaviours below scale according to the player's attribute. Meaning if attribute 85 might feel good and a pronounced effect, but 90 is significantly better and 99 is exponentially superior. I mean, that's you would expect that. Onside and offside runs. Awareness to know when to slow down and to time the run perfectly to stay on side. Okay, the behaviour will be overridden when using fast build-up tactics or getting behind instructions. The intent is to focus on using the speed to break the defence. So basically, it sounds to me that it's going to just influence how good they are at staying on side and when the time the runs, to be fair. A little feature that they're making a big deal out of, I think, there, potentially. Could be very frustrating when you've not got the best players early on, but we'll have to wait and see. Passer readiness runs. Understanding when the ball possessor is ready to make a pass so the player can time the run perfectly. Again, overridden by the tactics. Decision making, time intelligence, the ability to make faster and accurate decisions or where and when to move. Higher position attribute players will decide where and when to move smarter. Passing lane analysis. Understanding the spaces to determine where best to move to receive a pass and providing more options for the players passing to teammates. Okay. Behaviours that only happen when a player has very high position attribute. Open up space. Ability to create separation between attackers and defenders when the defence is tight or providing more passing options happen mostly with diagonal runs whether they have spaces available. Okay, let's watch the video. So there you go. You see him back off and create the space for the pass. Yeah. Okay, so it's just more intelligent runs that, and that's going to be obviously high positional attribute players. So your top level players are going to make them positional runs. Otherwise, I think they're going to stay close to the defender there. Ideal crossing positioning, understanding the best open space in the box to beat defenders during dangerous in-play cross situations. Fake runs inside the box. Fake runs into the box, creating a forward fake run and then pulling back will be available for cut back pass options or changing the run of directional from near post to far post. I wonder if we've lost some control over that or that'll be self-initiated by the AI. We'll have to wait and see. Chance creation support. AI forwards are more aware of the lack of passing options and will drop back into the midfield to support teammates in order to help build up play. See, I love that. That's what we need. We need the AI to spot when a player's playing a certain way and react to it. For example, drop back. We need players to drop into open space to create passing opportunities, which then will allow you to build up play better and break down people who will drop back and stuff like that. So that's good. That's a feature that is probably one of the littler things that they're highlighting, but could be key, especially against drop back opponents. Because I still think it'll be a thing this year, I really do. We'll have to wait and see. This article is massive, by the way. Wow, I mean, this is big. Defensive awareness attribute impact. This is a big worry for me, but I did say that they're going to have to balance the attacking side with improvements on the defensive side, and it is going to be AI stuff, I'm certain of that. The defensive awareness attribute can impact many elements of defending personality, and the specific behaviours below scale according to the player's attribute, as that is mentioned in the attacking session above. So I really feel that there's going to be a big divide between the top players and the average to low players this year, which goes in the direction of them wanting to spend money to get the better players. I think there's going to be a bigger gap, even more than there already is, between the top players and the lower players, which hopefully will make more players usable, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's get into it. Let me find where my Okay, so there we go. Run tracking. Ability to track a run and anticipate one before it happens, with the high aware defenders doing a much better job at staying in line with their runners. Okay. Two-man marking to prevent counter-attacks. Ability for two high attribute defenders to mark a striker so they have limited space to counter-attack. Requires two AI teammates, each with high defensive awareness attributes. So I would imagine that would be an individual instruction or something you do in tactics that you can turn on and encourage to do. We'll have to wait and see, because otherwise it could cause issues when people are breaking and doing 1-2s, but we'll have to wait and see how that works. Defensive midfielder diligent tracking. The ability to intelligently mark and track runs by attackers without giving up or leaving them open. They will track dangerous attacking opponents even though they are marked by a teammate due to the scale of the threat. Okay. Just again, it's just defenders and midfielders being aware of runs and when to follow and when not to. Defensive midfield cutting passing lanes. Awareness to position themselves better in order to cut passing lanes and limit opponents' reactions. Requires an AI teammate and defensive midfielder capacity with very high defensive awareness. So this will definitely be an instruction. So when you turn on cut passing lanes on the tactics currently, that means now that they're going to be better at it. The higher rate players are going to be more intelligent at it and do it a lot more often. But then I think that at the moment the skill is moving your players manually to cut passing lanes. So will this be a skill gap remover in terms of defending? I feel like it will be, but we'll have to wait and see. We're not going to jump to decisions now. We'll see when we play it and see how it works. Active versus passive winger behaviours determines how wingers can get when having to perform defensive duties such as marking, defensive positioning and tracking runs. Again, that'll be a player instruction thing, I think. Fullback cooperation, better awareness of teammates' fullback positioning, allowing to better work together when marking. When one fullback pushes up, the other will cover and become more aware to mark and track attackers. Fullbacks with high defensive awareness attribute are more effective defending runs on the far side of the pitch than players with a lower one. Okay. We get a little example here of how some of the intelligent defending works. You can see the player, ID22 here in the corner here, come in and cover the run and give support to ID21, which is interesting, which is good to see. Obviously, the player's breaking through and they're going to come and cover, and obviously it creates an option for the attacking player as well, with the right winger there being free as well. So there's a give and take there, depending whether you decide to put that instruction on, I guess. You know, I do think that will be an instruction. You can tell your players to cover and support like that, or have it off, I think, or you may be able to call them to do it potentially, but we'll have to wait and see. But it's good to see that, because normally currently on FIFA that player would stay there in the corner and they'd be through on goal, and you know, usually you might be able to catch them, maybe and maybe not, depending on who it is. But it's good to see a bit more intelligence and a bit more realistic reactions from the players, such as the fullbacks, to come and support if you pull a player out of position. But we'll have to wait and see, won't we? On to the next bit. Okay, smooth encounters. To promote a smoother game flow in FIFA 21, we created new animation systems, combining them to better decide how players interact physically with each other. This will reduce the amount of chaotic situations in game. The main focus points are better understanding of running past to prevent players running into each other, refined system to enable players to jump over fallen players. If a collision does happen, players will adjust their body to avoid head-on collisions to receive smaller impacts. So FIFA 20 is just an absolute mayhem in it. Absolute mayhem. But this year, people are a bit more aware. It looks a bit more natural, doesn't it? It's more natural. You still have the issues that potentially could happen, but not as ridiculous, you know. It's more realistic, you know. You haven't got players falling on the floor and falling over each other, which was such an issue this year, and you would concede goals from it happening as well. So good to see there, you know, a little touch, and hopefully it's a big change. Another example here as well, FIFA 20's version, players just fall over all over the place. It's pretty embarrassing, to be fair, to see how FIFA 20 looks and how the collision system works. The on the right is much more natural and how it should be, but you know, it's a good improvement. It is what we want to see. Enhanced CPU and competitor mode, I'm not going to go into that. It's just basically a harder game mode for you to use if it's too easy for you currently. Fundamentals of football, here we go. Throughout FIFA's 20 cycle, we received feedback from the community and about the core community around the fundamentals of football. With that in mind, our team has put a lot of effort into translating that feedback into enhancing some of the important foundations of the game. Headers, here we go. Headers, which currently is not a thing in FIFA 20, even though it is such a big thing in football. In FIFA 20, we made a decision to make heading less effective. Well, you didn't. You made a decision to take heading out, basically, because it was just not less effective, it's just ineffective, full stop. Resulting in less goals being scored from headers as part of our efforts to promote skill differentiation, and the idea that most goals are scored as a direct result of players' actions, which is a lot of rubbish anyway. You know, headers come as a result of players' actions and creating crosses from the right areas and putting the ball in the danger area, just like teams do in real life. But hopefully we've seen a shift now. In FIFA 21, to improve the viability of scoring headers while keeping a skill gap in the game, we choose manual heading to enable this option. A player would set the assisted headers option to off, as detailed later in the article. So we need to see how this works. We really do, because I don't understand how manual heading is going to work, but we're sure we'll find out. See, the video doesn't really show us anything, does it? It just shows a cross and some editing. You know, it doesn't show us how it's going to work. Let's see if they tell us anything. When playing this option, your headers will not be assisted in any way, with the aim power used when forming the header, determining the initial target for the header before the header is placed and potentially impacted by error. We believe this functionality will allow for more opportunities to use heading to convert offensive chances, while sticking to the attention of a more goals scored to result of the player's direct action. In addition, to ensure fairness in competitive modes across FIFA, playing with manual heading will be mandatory in the following modes. So foot champions, foot rivals, squad battles, great. All foot modes is manual, that's what we want to see. The skill gaps there, that is exactly what we want. All Pro Clubs mods, the Pro Club people will love that as well. FIFA seasons, FIFA Court season, FIFA Online friendlies. That's what we want. We want the skill gaps to be turned on automatically in foot champs especially, and obviously all competitive modes. That's great. Hopefully it works really well. If you time your headers correct, I imagine green time maybe thrown in there as well, the right power, the right direction, you're going to score more headers. We'll have to wait and see. We'll see, but hopefully that's a big shift towards you are now able to throw the ball in the box. If his player is free, cross it in, you're going to score it, rather than missing open nets, which you currently do, which is an absolute nightmare. Defending. Let's get into defending. It's a big thing, because currently, for me, it needs to be nerfed, but I don't think it will. Based on the improvements on the attacking side, I think it'll be counterbalanced. Based on the community feedback, we improved control tackling system introduced FIFA 20 to make it more accurate than before, with players better position themselves in order to perform an ideal standing tackle. A lot of work went to add in the player's personality for tackling, allowing the top defenders to stand out and be more accurate when predicting the ball and to make the best tackle. Multiple attributes are used to differentiate the effectiveness of players when performing a tackle. For example, when performing a standing tackle, we'll now use a combination of standing tackle, defensive awareness and aggression for the attributes. So let's be real. There was no controlled tackling in FIFA 20. It was literally you just run into the player and get the ball. If you manually tackled, you generally, 9 out of 10, were punished. So we'll have to see what they do and how that changes, and hopefully you're not punished this year. We also reworked shoulder challenges, seal outs to make them more effective and more realistic. Shoulder challenges have been reworked to create better contact between players and avoid the defender overshooting their opponent. So better jockeying, better battles with obviously strikers and defenders. Hopefully that means that the slower defenders now, who are a lot stronger, will be more effective, because when they're shoulder challenging, they're going to be stronger than the other player and win the ball more often than not. Seal outs are where a defender puts themselves between the attacker and the ball to take possession back or shepherd the ball out of play, and they are being re-engineered to create a better position between the player and their opponent. To perform a shoulder challenge or seal out, tap the L2 or LT button while side by side to your opponent when defending. So that's a new feature in it, a new feature, the shoulder challenge. And again, I think that will help defenders who are slower use the strength a lot more. So it'll be interesting to see whether more defenders are usable now. Hopefully that is the case. Blocking. This is a worry. This is a worry. We're about halfway now. Halfway. This is huge. I'll be as quick as I can, guys. We're excited to be fresh in blocking FIFA 21. The team has completely rewritten the blocking system and added it to the controlled tackling technology, creating more reliable and realistic blocks when defending shots and passes. To show contrast between good and the best players, we added player personality by their attributes to make sure the system is balanced. A player's attributes will determine the effectiveness of a block and how far away the players can block, how long it will take to start the block animation, how they can react to transitions to different blocks. If something changes, how long it takes to recover from a block. So that means, again, this is going to create a bigger gulf between the top players and the lower players, definitely. I still think that AI blocking is going to be a big thing based on this, but it's going to be a lot more effective with the better players. It's a tough one. I'll have to see how it works. I hope that it makes it less effective but more realistic, if that makes sense based on what they're saying, but we'll have to wait and see. Passing. The goal for this year is create an intelligent passing game. The main focus here is to improve the passing system by adding better understanding of the space and opponent's position, to pass towards a target that makes more sense for the receiver's situation. Free passing. This system is rebuilt from the ground up to improve possible task targets, receiver selection, and increase player personality in addition to new concepts introduced like pass openness. Providing smart passers the ability to open up the pitch by leading the receiver away from the opponents. Pass complexity. New passing trajectories and targets are possible, allowing for killer balls and free balls that will put the receiver in greater goal scoring opportunity. There's also a new semi-assisted free ball assistance setting that takes into consideration your controller input and angle to decide the target of the pass and give you more control, discussed later on in this article. Okay, let's watch the video. So, I think you can do that now, really, but there's a bit more curl on there. It's a bit more of a dynamic pass. Very similar to like a Kevin De Bruyne style pass. Be good to see if we can do them cross field, to carve open the defense with through balls that cut in and stuff like that. We'll have to wait and see how that works. But it does sound like we're going to have a bit more creativity. The better players will be able to carve out better opportunities potentially as well. Crossing, the system was remodeled. So this is showing the crossing, not the above actually. All right, that makes sense. Okay. This system was remodeled to create more unique crosses that help players get the most out of their build-up play. There are a number of new crossing trajectories in FIFA 21, whip cross, and how to do it. So inspired by Liverpool's Trent Alexander-Arnold, interesting. Fast and dangerous cross will travel through the box and more perfect for a teammate to put their head on it. That's what you see there. Driven crosses, driven ground crosses. We've already got them, but they must have tweaked them. Update to cross assistant settings, assisted and semi-assisted. Okay, other improvements. Adding the pass opponent's openness concepts as covered in the free pass section to ground passes. Improvements to the targets and trajectories. Multiple animations, better trajectories for clearances to avoid teammates, opponents in your own goal. Okay, so it's just little tweaks to it. Animation fluidity. Improved animation transition system, allowing for faster transitions, which will support a more fluid responsive experience, especially in passing, shooting, ball control, dribbling, and player movement. And player personality was added into animation quickness, improving reaction time to great players and decreasing time it takes for players to perform the actions. Hopefully this increases sharpness when you've got hold of the ball and when you're doing things. Currently there's a delay, and I think the delay is down to the animation system, and I think this is covering that. Hopefully it's going to remove that delay and it feels a lot more fluid in game, which is obviously they're putting the buzzword animation fluidity. Right. Giving players more control. Beside all the features and improvements mentioned above, we added even more mechanics and innovations to give you more control both on and off the pitch. So you've got new skill moves. I won't go into them. Something we'll cover at a later date. Obviously the foul advantage. Now if you've got an advantage and you want to pull it back, you can do L2 and R2 or LT and RT to bring the player back and take the free kick option. That's great. Really good addition there. Instant hard tackles, ability from hard tackles instantly without having to hold and power up the tackle button. This is basically a take them out. I'm assuming it's going to be like a take them out button. Last ditch, what we need to win the ball or give away a foul potentially, which is, another new pass tackling addition is great. That's what I want to do. Set up touch 2.0. Nobody used this in FIFA 20, and I still think it won't be a thing in FIFA 21. They've just obviously improved it a little bit. Improved finesse shots. The curve attribute will now have impacted significantly more. So finesse shots will be more effective now by the sounds of it as well. Call players into box and goal kicks. I've seen this on some of the gameplay. It's been leaked. You can now do short goal kicks, which is massive. Goal kicks right now are absolute nightmare, frustrating. Very one-dimensional. The fact that you can call people short now and build up from the back, which is fantastic. That's exactly what I want to see from that. Improve super cancel mechanics. Add a variety of ways to cancel actions, give you more control over your moves on the pitch. Create a situation where you want to surprise the opponent and they'll to anticipate your moves, and pay attention to your players' animations. Hard super cancel. So L2 and R2 are LT and RT. Again, L1, R1, or RB and LB. Allows players to go into a free move in a situation set when during the ball. So you can cancel anything. Any instruction you can cancel. That's great. That's fantastic. Pass shot cancel. Again, you can cancel your passing. And a skill move cancel. So essentially that's the same for all of them. I don't know why I separated it. The instructions are exactly the same. It's just obviously account for the different situations. have a look. It's quite hard for him to show that on that, to be fair. It's just kind of like showing him shooting and then cancelling it. Okay, that's fine. More settings. More control in FIFA 21, and we created and choose the following settings: auto flare passes, auto clearances, auto shots, player lock. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. I won't go into all that. It's something we'll do a video on and cover in game control settings. We'll have a look at them, see what works and what doesn't. Skill move improvements. Okay. All access skill moves. All players can perform the right stick moves, but the effectiveness depends on their skill move rating and attribute. Lower rate players will perform slower and more prone to variance of some of these. So that means there's more skill moves for all players. Okay, that's fine. Again, that's something we'll have to do a full video on skill moves and go into all them. I'm not going to go through them all. The video's already long enough, so we'll just be as quick as we can. And then general improvements on community feedback. Community feedback is the most important pillars for our gameplays. Team focus work on FIFA 21. We've been running forward-thinking feedback sessions since the launch of FIFA 20, even despite being kept physically apart. As a result of the feedback, we are able to identify main priorities for FIFA 21 early in development, and we're thankful for players who continue to provide us with feedback. Okay, so they're thanking us for the feedback we've given. I mean, they've had a lot of feedback this year, haven't they? Online responsiveness efforts, we know about that. They did an article on that, so we'll go into that. Quality of line improvements. Removal of some celebrations, including shush. I'll rate it. Removal of walk back. Reduce the length of goal celebrations. Reduce the time of waiting for multi-step pieces. So they've reduced all the times, all the waiting times to create a quicker experience and create less rage from yourself and your opponent during goal celebrations, things like that, which I like to see. That's fantastic. Okay. We paid special attention to very specific changes that have been consistently brought up by our competitive and core community players. No collision of handballs. Outfield players' hands for arms are now permeable and should not collide with the ball, prevent handballs. See, I said that. That's what I said. I've said this in my streams and in my videos. The ball should just pass through the arms, and they've done that, which is good. They've listened there. Quick tactics. Team press timer. We saw feedback around players being able to waste time in such situations, unrealistic ways. It was difficult for the defending team to try and get the ball back in these situations. To address this, we revamped the team press quick tactic to no longer result in constant pressure defensive tactic. We now trigger temporary auto press behaviour on demand with a cooldown time that prevents it being overused. Right, okay. So that means you would have to go into your settings to put that on. For now, it's something that you get to use for a short period of time, which is good because that adds a skill in terms of when to use it, when not to, and it'll only be there for a amount of time. I quite like that. I'm interested to see how it works in game and how effective it is. Manual switch to offside player trap. Allow manual switching to a player that's performing an offside trap. Ground pass assistance. Okay. Jockey acceleration to acceleration. Players with lower defensive awareness attribute of reduced jockey effectiveness in order to encourage jockeying with actual defenders opposed to avoid players. Great, that's great. So that means now you're going to see less people getting the striker coming all the way back and jockeying with them and defending. They'll be really bad at it. That's really good. Really good. Goalkeeper save consistency, improve multiple behaviours including when to punch, when to catch it, more consistency on reflex save, and situations where people decides between rushing out, clearing the ball, blocking the attacker or taking control of the ball. Okay. Goalkeeping positioning is improved, throwing positioning and chip shot accuracy. Okay. General improvements, and these are the stuff for kickoff. We won't go into that. Rewind, we've seen that, we'll go into that, and many more. There we go. We have got through it, guys. That is everything. I mean, that is a huge article. I mean, I'm really pleased that they've done that. A deep dive, and it really is a deep dive. There's a lot in there. Some sounds great. Some sounds like it's just put in there to be a buzzword features that they can talk about. But we'll have to wait and see until we get our hands on the game and see how it is. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Give you a bit of insight into my thoughts behind it, what I thought of it. Let me know what you thought of the trailer down below. What did you think of the features in this deep dive? You know, what's your opinions? Are you looking forward to it? Does anything sound particularly good? Does anything sound bad? Let me know down below. Get some discussions going on, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Come and check me out on Twitch TV Sarah 16, and I will see you all in the next video.